Imagine a normal Sunday afternoon. Families sitting together, children playing, and then a man hands him a cup. And one by one, 918 people drink it. 918 people die. In a single afternoon. Not from a bomb. Not from a war. They chose to. And the ones who didn't choose were held down and forced. 276 of them were children. This is the story of Jim Jones. The man who didn't just kill 918 people. He made them love him first.
That's right. And to show mankind the road to freedom. They're condescending saviors that come to us by their so-called pity from some judgment hall. But I'm here as a sample and example to show you that you can bring yourself up with your own bootstraps, and you can become your God, not in condescension, but in resurrection, in upliftment from whatever condition, economic injustice or servitude or racism you might have had to endure. Within you rest the keys of deliverance.
Part 1. The beginning of Jim Jones. Jim Jones was not born a monster. He was born in 1931. A small town in Indiana. Poor family. Trouble home. His father was a known member of the Ku Klux Klan. But Jim was different from his family. From childhood, he was obsessed with two things: religion and death. Neighbors remembered something strange about young Jim. He would hold funerals for dead animals. Not sad funerals, organized ones, with speeches. By his teenage years, he was preaching on street corners, and people stopped to listen. There was something about his voice, something that made you feel understood. In the 1950s, he started his own church, the People's Temple. And here's what made Jones truly dangerous. He wasn't just preaching God. He was preaching equality. In 1950s America, when black people couldn't sit at the same table as white people, Jim Jones was running a fully integrated church. He fed the poor. He healed the sick. He gave people hope. People didn't just like Jim Jones. They needed him. But behind the kindness was something deeply calculated. Jones began staging fake miracles. He would call out sick members of the congregation, claim to heal them, but he had spies, people who gathered personal information about members beforehand, so he could fake divine knowledge. He started calling himself a prophet, then the reincarnation of Jesus, then God himself, and people believed him. Why? Because he had already proven himself to them. He had fed their families. He had marched for their rights. By the time he started saying crazy things, they had already said yes 100 times before. Jones also created fear. If you questioned him, you were humiliated in front of everyone. If you tried to leave, he threatened your family. He recorded every confession his members ever made. And used it as blackmail. He controlled who they spoke to, what they read, what they ate, how much they slept. By the mid-1970s, the People's Temple had over 20,000 members, and Jim Jones was becoming paranoid. In 1974, Jones made a decision that sealed everyone's fate. He would build a utopia, a perfect society, deep in the jungles of Guyana, South America. He called it Jonestown. Over 1,000 followers packed their bags, left their homes, left their families, and followed Jim Jones into the jungle. What they found was not a utopia. The food was rationed. The work was brutal. People worked 12-hour days in the jungle heat. Jones would broadcast his voice over loudspeakers 24 hours a day. Even while people slept, there were guards. There were punishments. Children were beaten in front of their parents. And leaving was not an option. The jungle surrounded them. They had no money, no passports. Jones had taken everything. They were trapped. But still, most of them believed in him. Because when you have given up everything for someone, admitting they are a monster means admitting you destroyed your own life for nothing. The human mind will do almost anything to avoid that truth. In November 1978, U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan flew to Jonestown. Families back in America have been sending desperate letters. My daughter won't come home. My son sounds like a different person. Please help. Ryan landed with a small team of journalists. At first, Jones welcomed them. Showed them around. Had members perform a concert. But some members slipped notes to the journalists. Please get us out. When Ryan tried to leave with those members, Jones's guards opened fire on the airstrip. Congressman Ryan was shot dead. 3 journalists killed, several others wounded. Jones knew it was over. He gathered everyone in the central pavilion, and he gave his final sermon. He called it White Night. Large metal vats were wheeled out, filled with purple-flavored drink, mixed with cyanide, sedatives, and tranquilizers. Jones spoke calmly. We are not committing suicide. We are committing a revolutionary act. We will not let them take what we have built. Nurses began injecting babies first. Then small children. Then the cups were handed out. Some people refused. The recordings captured their voices, crying, begging, questioning. But Jones kept talking, kept pushing. Members who hesitated were injected by force. And many walked forward willingly. 918 people died that afternoon. 276 of them were children. Jim Jones was found with a single gunshot wound to the head. To this day, nobody knows if he pulled the trigger himself. Is the most important thing to understand about Jonestown. These were not stupid people. These were not weak people. These were doctors, teachers, mothers, fathers, veterans. They were people who wanted to believe in something good. And Jim Jones gave them that. Until he didn't. The same qualities that make us human. Our need for community. Our desire for purpose. Our loyalty to people we love. Are the exact things that cults weaponize. Jonestown didn't happen because 918 people were foolish. It happened because one man understood human psychology better than they understood themselves. And that is the most terrifying thing about this story. Not the jungle, not the poison, the fact that it worked. If you think you could never be manipulated, that's exactly what he wanted you to think.